we lived down on Fulton Street, and they call that the Flats. And
why did they call that the Flats?
well, you know, I never knew why. Because it could not have been because of blacks, because when we were living down there, a lot of Greeks lived there, because up on the corner of Pine and Fulton was a Greek coffee house. They had Greek coffee houses all around there. And matter of fact, our neighbors was Peter Panagis that used to came to be the judge, and his and I remember his family, Peter, Jimmy, Mary, and all their family used to live next together. And that Greek church used to be on Clinton Street. It was a wooden big church, but you know they got their money together, and you know where they're at now up on High Street. But that used to be as I was young, as I told immigrant Greeks when they came over, a lot of them lived down in that area, and why it's called the Flats, I really don't know.
So did the Greeks and the blacks intermingle, or was there prejudice involved
well, you
there?
know, we didn't know if it was prejudice, but you know, there wasn't any, you know, well, like the Panagis next door, you know, we talked, but they wasn't playing outside and stuff like that, you know, but we knew who, you know, they were. And on Pine Street you had a Greek grocery store every corner, and in between, every corner in between you had Greek grocery stores.
So did black people shop at those grocery stores?
It's the only place you had to go.
Oh.
And way later on, down on the further end of Fulton Street, Mr. Roy, he opened up a little grocery store, a little small one. And when the Greeks started moving out of there, he came up on Pine Street and tried to get a bigger store.
Mr. Roy, he was a black man?
Yeah.
What was his last name?
You know, that's all we knew was Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy, yeah. And also, at that particular time, you had Johnson Cleaners. Well, when the Greeks moved out, when most of the Greeks moved out, the buildings that they left there, you know, one of them became a pool room. Johnson Cleaners became up between Clinton and Dawson Street, Johnson Cleaners, and in that area he was the one that hired the most blacks at that time, because I'm not talking about factories, I'm just talking about the business people there. You know, he had trucks pick up your clothes and bring them in and bring them back. So then we had maybe about 3 restaurants down there at that time.
Was Mr. Caper's gas station down there somewhere?
Yeah, that was on the corner of Clinton and Pine, where the old folks used to go sit on pop cases and tell stories and drink Old Crow.
What's Old Crow?
That's some kind of bourbon liquor.
Oh, okay.
And I can never understand is they drink and they frown. You know what I'm saying? If you drink it, so why are you frowning? You
It should make you happy, huh?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, he had the gas station there, and there was quite a few business until the flood came, you know, and took the things away.
So what do you remember about that flood?
Well, when the flood came out, I was in the service.
Oh, okay. You weren't living here then.
No, I got pictures of it and when I came back. My parents, they had moved over, even before the flood, they had moved over on Highland Avenue and close to 4th. There was a...
Oh, of course, you know I know that house.
Yeah.
The Morgan house.
That store, there was a store next door, and that belonged to the Piavalas too.
So when your parents moved in that house on Highland, there were still probably a lot of Caucasians in the neighborhood, right?
Well, I was still in the service when they moved over there. So when I got back, I never did. No, they mostly hadn't moved. It seems like there was a few families stranded over there, but it
Oh,
wasn't like
okay.
it was before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when I went to First Street School, it was mostly white. You had very few black families living on the west side at that time.
So, do you remember my mom attending First Street when you were there? Because I think she would have been there when you were there.
No, because I don't think. I'm trying to think where they lived at that
In the
time.
flats by Paul Warfield.
Well, that was the bottom.
So the flats and the bottoms, that's two different things?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought they were the same.
No, the flats was like Dawson, Clinton, Fulton, Walnut,
Okay.
and then
Like around the corner
then below
from the bottom.
By the mill, if you go down there, you had Roanoke, Cedar, and all that. That was called the bottom.
Because it was closer to the steel mill.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank you for...
and the city dump.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for pointing that out to me because I was thinking that they were the same.
No, they called that the bottom, and above the mill, it was called the flats. Yeah.
Okay.